What's happening, YouTube? Hope we're good. We're back for another video here, and today is going to be a slightly different kind of video. We're going to go through an in-depth Q&A, and I've posted the questions on the Instagram. I've posted the questions to my clients, and there's been a good few questions come back. So I'm going to dive into them in a wee bit more depth than I would usually do on an Instagram Q&A for anyone that follows me over there. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go and fucking do that. And if you don't subscribe to this, make sure you hit subscribe. I'm going to get stuck into the questions. There's going to be plenty of value in them and cover everything around training, nutrition. I've had a flick through them to see what sort of stuff there is there. So yes, first couple of questions we're going to get stuck into. We're going to go with current clients because they're my current clients. They're sound. We'll have to go with them. A couple of questions. These sort of overlap with some of the ones that we were asked as well. First one was from David. Using primers effectively and timings would be helpful. Don't use them currently, but wouldn't mind trying them next session. So primer sessions, essentially, they're pretty popular at the moment. Primer sessions are sessions that you would do in sort of like 24 to 48 hours, usually the day or 2 days before a game, but you can actually do them anywhere from like 6 to 8 hours out from the game, or up to 6 to 8 hours before the game. And essentially the goal of primer sessions is to like activate and excite the central nervous system. Just the body's firing, the body's like primed, funny enough, and ready to go for high intensity activity. There is evidence to show that it helps with explosive type movements or explosive type performances. So like you're sprinting, jumping, changing direction, all that sort of stuff. It definitely benefits the body there. So personally, how I use them, I like to do them if I have a game in around like the sort of like early afternoon, like middle of the day sort of thing. I'll do the primer the day before. But if I have a game at the evening, say it's like 6, 7 o'clock throw-in, something like that, I'll try and do it that morning then. But yeah, either do it the day before or the morning of in terms of the actual session. And the content of the session, like it's sort of individual specific. Like they're not, it's a minimal sort of benefit. Like the benefit of them, you're not going to massively get a benefit of them if you don't have everything else nailed down in terms of your training, your nutrition, your recovery, like managing your load throughout the week, like all that good stuff. If you're relying on a primer session to like maximize your performance and take your performance up like 50%, like it's not a substitute of doing the work throughout the rest of the week. It can complement, and it can, if you're in good shape, you've done the work consistently throughout the year, you're well fueled up, you're well rested, you're well hydrated, then a primer session can have some sort of benefit. But if you're not doing the rest of that other stuff, then fucking nail all that first before you start considering primer sessions. But the actual content of a session then, like there's so many different ways of going about it, and this is where it comes down to like individual preference, I suppose. So some players will do maybe like a heavy strength movement or like a heavy sort of explosive type movement. So you might have like a box squat, maybe like a power clean, something along those lines. And then followed up by like some sort of like ballistic type movement where maybe it's a jump, a throw, bound, something like along those lines. The ways I've sort of worked it in the past was, I would have done like an isometric. So like an overcoming isometric, where I'm fucking pulling as hard as I can or pushing as hard as I can. So say like a mid thigh pull or like a pin squat, where you're driving up into like the pins, and then I'm going to like a jump or a plyo after that. Did the same for upper body, like push like a bench press, pushing into the pins, like isometrics, like 10-second push or 10-second push, relax, go again, and then I'm going to like a med ball throw, something like that. So isometric followed by something explosive, or I go for something like ballistic. Like at the minute, I go for a trap bar jump, nice and light, quick dip and drive, 2-3 reps, 2-3 sets, and then I'm going to like a box jump, or a counter movement jump. Again, 2-3 reps, 2-3 sets, and then I'm going to a bench press. Sometimes it's just light, like control down, explode up, 3 to 5 reps, or I would go maybe even like banded. So like you have to keep accelerating the whole way through, and the resistance gets higher as you get to the top. Just requires you to bring that intent, but it would reduce the load for that. Again, 3-5 reps, 2-3 sets, followed up by maybe a plyo push up, and then always finish off with a few curls. That's how I would work it. That's my thought process on them. If you want to try them, give them a go. Like again, try them the day before to probably start with. Keep the volume low, keep the intent high, the loads nice and light. Personally, like you can go relatively heavy. You can go anywhere. You can go up to like maybe like 80% if you're doing like a squat to box or something like that. But again, keep the volume low, keep the intent high. But personally, I don't want to load anything up heavy the day before. I just feel like that sort of light sharpness, explosiveness feels good for me, and that's my personal preference. So I'll do that either, as I say, the day before, if we have like a lunchtime or like afternoon sort of throw-in, or the morning of if we've a later throw-in at like 6-7 p.m. Next one is important. So it's from William. So William's just joined us. He got the off-season program and then joined the Potential Performance Academy. if you want to figure out how to do that, click the links in the description down below. You can access our in-season or off-season programs, and if you get either of those, you can get access to Pretence Performance Academy for £1 for your first month, and it goes into £50 a month after that. You can read more about it down below. Or if you have any questions, shoot me a message on Instagram. So William just asked, is it important to practice speed training, soloing and picking the ball up from the ground to more accurately simulate the stop-start nature of games? So over time, yes, but not right away. So a lot of players can be really obsessed and concerned about making everything like sports specific and really relevant to the game. But the reality is everything we do in S&C, everything we do from physical performance standpoint is general preparation, all right? The only thing that's specific is actual team training and playing the game, like the sport itself, all right? Everything we do from an S&C standpoint is to develop the physical qualities and physical abilities and outputs that allow you to perform to a higher standard physically on the pitch and essentially play the game at a faster speed for longer, be robust, and just improve your physical performance. So when it comes to the likes of like sprinting, speed work and all that crack, I look at it in two ways. I look at like your technique and how you're actually moving, nailing that first, and then also getting those exposures to that. When we start to throw in the likes of a ball and all that, it changes how we're kind of moving. Yes, it's like we do it in the game, we do it in sessions, like we do need to maybe work on it, but you can use team training to work on that. You can add a couple of reps in of it, but like you get very little time in your training week to actually focus on the speed side of things. So whenever you are focusing on that, just focus on it from a quality standpoint in terms of how you're moving, and making sure the reps are as good as possible, because you don't actually get that much time to work on it throughout the week, but you have far more time to be able to get reps in of picking up a ball, soloing a ball at speed, in sessions, in games and drills, that sort of thing. So it's not massively important, but it's important to get a bit of exposure to it. But again, it's come back to like keep the main thing. We're working on our physical performance, which is general prep. So just stick with that, and then you'll start to blend it in whenever you're in team sessions and in games and in game scenarios. You can add a wee bit of it in, but you don't need to go overkill on it. Same from William again. So overrated and underrated supplements. We'll go underrated first, actually. Supplements, like, again, similar to what I said about the primary sessions, players can be so quick to go and look at supplements and look at adding something rather than just like focus on the 90% rather than sort of like the last sort of 5-10%. When it comes to supplements, like supplements that I go to is protein powder if you're not getting enough protein in, creatine monohydrate, vitamin D because we live in Ireland and there's very little sunlight, maybe collagen if you have like tendon issues, all right? Outside of that, like, again, if you're not looking after the food first approach, so actually getting enough food in to fuel the training demands, then getting enough protein, carbs, fats in terms of macros. Like if you're not nailing those two things first and you're eating like good quality foods, like forget about supplements. Like focus on getting enough food in first, good quality foods, and then like the amount of those quality foods, and then you can start adding like supplements as the icing on the cake, really. Overrated supplements, amino acids. I actually don't even take that many supplements, so I don't have first-hand experience of using too many. Stick to the ones that are trusted, stick to the ones that actually have a benefit, nail a food first approach, have a good training program in place. Again, if you're not doing the work from a training standpoint, if you're not fit enough, you're not fast enough, you're carrying extra body fat, you don't have much muscle mass on you, like they're all the big rocks, fucking chase all that first, and then you can look at the supplements after that. But then also, like supplement, from a supplement standpoint, like people don't think of it as a supplement. Caffeine can be good, obviously gives you that sort of energy boost, can be shown to boost performance if you take it before like endurance type training, explosive type training, definitely helps that. Carbs are a fucking class supplement. Again, fueling properly, give you energy, like just recovery benefits, power output, like carbs are fucking king when it comes to like intermittent or like explosive type sports, continuous type stuff as well. And then sleep, like if you fucking sleep well, recover well, you're gonna have far more energy than any supplement's gonna give you. So they're, I suppose, my underrated supplements. I'll move into the Instagram questions here now. So there's one in the channel, we'll go there first and then we'll go into the Q&A. What advice do you have for GAA athletes facing a long-term injury? All right, so this is a big one. So unfortunately, with the nature of the sport that we're in, picking up injuries can be pretty common. Hopefully you're not unfortunate to pick one up, but if you do, here's my advice. So basically last year, the last couple of years, I've had on and off issues with my hamstring. And then like actually this time last year, close enough to the day actually, maybe a couple of days later, I got hamstring surgery. So basically I had a tear in my hamstring tendon slightly off the bone, got it repaired, and I've been back flying since. But yeah, long-term injuries, like they can be frustrating as fuck, but the big thing is like with anything, it's like focus on what's in your control. All right, so if you have a long-term injury, get a good team around you, people who know what they're talking about. Physios, S&C, nutrition, coaches, whatever it is, teammates, fucking mates who have gone through it, like have a good sort of circle or support network there, people who understand what you're going through, people who can help you get through it, and people who can actually like put the right steps in place that you have confidence in the process and you can actually work towards the rehab side of things. All right. But with anything, it's like you can only focus on what's in your control. There is that element of this has happened, this is shit, and it is really unfortunate that it's happened, and there will be that wee period of like your fucking head's melted, you're probably depressed as fuck, and you hate the world and you're thinking, why me? And there's that bit of self-pity. Like, have that period 100%. You need to have that to like process it. Give yourself a time to kind of process it, whether it's a couple of days or it's a week or whatever, and just be like, right, after this period, I need to fucking get back into the process then. So again, that comes from having physios in place that you trust, get the medical advice that you need, whether you need to get surgery, see specialists, all that crack, like whatever it takes, get that fucking done. I probably should have, I should have got, the first time I hurt my hamstring, I should have got a scan, but the physio that I went to said I didn't need one. Any physios that I saw for a while says, no, if they say you didn't need one, then you don't need one. They were doing all the tests, but like if I had got a scan, I would have realised there's a fucking tear in your tendon. Here's the proper protocol, rather than sort of doing a bit of rehab, starting to get back in, and I broke down so many times. If you want to hear more about my hamstring journey, go back and watch my videos. I'm done talking about it. But yeah, like understand that it's a long-term process. If you have a good plan in place, you have a good structure in place, then it's literally just about executing on that plan day in, day out, doing what needs to be done. Ryan Holiday has a good book, The Obstacle is the Way. I read that as soon as, like I've read it before, but I made sure I had it with me after I got the surgery, because the only way that you can get back to where you need to be is by taking action on those steps along the way. And it comes back to, as I say, focus on what's in your control. So the rehab side of things, having good people around you, people that you trust, actually executing on that plan to a fucking T, and then everything around that that complements that. Like your lifestyle is going to be absolutely massive. So nutrition, making sure that you're eating enough food to actually fuel your recovery, support the body recovering and repairing. So you want to be in a slight calorie surplus, all right? So very, very slight. Now, it depends on the injury, depends on like what you can do, what your level of activity is. That'll all come into it. But in order to help yourself recover to the highest ability or highest level, you want to be in a slight surplus there. It's going to speed it up. It's going to make it more effective and efficient. A lot of players think, right, I'm out here for a wee while, I'm going to go after body composition, try and drop the body fat. I understand your thinking behind it, but it's actually slowing down your progress. It's slowing down your recovery, and it's going to take you so much longer. All right, so be diligent with your nutrition. Sleep is obviously going to be key. That's where we recover a lot. And then like alcohol is going to fucking definitely slow that down. So just, I'd say cutting out alcohol for that time, or at least being really, really picky with where you do have it. If you are going to have it, I would only have it for a special occasion. I got hamstring surgery in August, and I didn't touch a drink until, I'm going to say December. Yeah, December, I think it was the first weekend in December. I had like a couple of drinks when I was in Paris, and then Christmas basically. So basically August to Christmas until I was back out on the pitch, going well. And even just having those couple of drinks, fucking, I thoroughly felt it. And I felt my recovery was shit. The body felt shit. The whole next week of training was fucking shit. So get everything going in your favour. Control what you can. Stick to the process. Nail the process day in, day out. And then everything outside that complements the process, fucking nail that too. Nutrition, sleep, avoid alcohol. That would be my go-to there. I suppose bonus points in that is like find other people's journeys and use other people's journeys as like inspiration and motivation. So like I would have watched, people's YouTube videos coming back from injuries, spoke to other athletes, spoke to other players, just to get an idea of what's worked for them, what could they try, and just basically doing everything that's in your power to get the absolute most out of it. And if you have any questions for me specifically on that, feel free to give me a shout. Happy to help and share my own experience from it. And if you're enjoying this kind of video and you have more questions, feel free to comment the questions down below. I'll happily get back to you down below, and maybe even another video. I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. So what are some good drills for a defender? So say in terms of these questions, like my job, I'm not a fucking coach. Like I'm not a team sport coach or a skills coach. Like I'm an S&C physical performance coach. So anything that I coach or anything that I talk about is relative to like physical performance, physical outputs, speed, strength, power, conditioning, managing body composition, like all those sort of things. Like that's the majority of the stuff that I coach. When it comes to skills work and all that stuff, that's not my job. That's not my role. But basically drills for defenders, like again, when you look at what you need to do as a defender, as a player, any position of the pitch that you play, look at the physical demands. Like my job is to look at the physical demands of the sport. Every player needs to be fast, needs to be able to change direction, needs to be able to accelerate, put the brakes on, need to be fit to be able to get up and down the pitch. Also, the fitter you are, the faster you're going to recover in between those high intensity bursts, so you can get up and down the pitch at speed for longer, which is essentially the game these days. You need to be strong in the contact. If you have more muscle mass on you, you're going to have more ability to produce force and put the brakes on, absorb force and all that crack. So you want to have a well-rounded physical profile there first and foremost. If you're a defender, then it's like, right, well, what skills, tasks do you need to like carry out? And to be honest, it's the same in any position. If you're a forward or if you're an attacker, right? If you're a defender, if you're an attacker, if you're a defender, you're trying to take space from the attacker. So you need to be able to show them into certain directions. You need to be able to be close to them, like body position and all that crack. Being able to like get close to them without fucking fouling them, not letting them fucking step you, turn you, all that. Again, it comes back to physical qualities. You need to be able to, you need to be fast, you need to be able to change direction well, you need to be able to repeat that over time, and then also be strong if they fucking need hit. If you're a forward, you're trying to create space for yourself. So again, how do you create space? You need to be fast to get out to win the ball. You need to be able to change direction, throw jinks to be able to like throw the defender off, open up space for yourself, be able to accelerate into that. Like they're all the physical qualities, but then when it comes to actually like good drills then for working on that, like that's going to come from a closed environment. So anything that I do will be like in a closed environment where we're focusing on the technique and how to move more efficiently and effectively. Similar to what I said about the speed stuff at the start. Do you need to do it with a ball? Our focus is doing it well first, and then you progress that into like a slightly more open environment where maybe it's like a small sided game or like sort of close quarter stuff, and then you're bringing that into team sessions and games. I'm sure you're doing plenty of tackling and stuff and fucking one-on-one stuff in training, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3v3s. But what I would say there is just fucking, like if you're down kicking about or you're down after training, just like pick one of the forwards and just get a couple of one-on-ones on the go and take it from there. Tell them, here's the scenario, you have to fucking come and take me on, you're trying to get a score. Certain different areas of the pitch that you find yourself on. Yeah, that's what we're looking at there. But again, I'm not the best to talk about in terms of like coaching drills, like specific gameplay stuff. I am a physical performance, like athletic performance, S&C coach, whatever you want to call it. So it's kind of out of my scope. So there we go. Cheers for getting the questions in. I appreciate it. If you have any more questions from that, or maybe the answers weren't too clear, feel free to comment down below or shoot me a message on Instagram. While I have you here, we're gonna be doing another live webinar. We did this last year, coming from the in-season into the off-season. It can be a tricky time for so many players where they just don't know, they want to get a bit of downtime, they want to relax and switch off after a long season, get the body recovered and just fucking get the head shot, but they don't want to go too far backwards. There's so many players take a bit of time off, and 1 week leads into 2 weeks, leads into 3 weeks, leads into fucking 2 months, and they end up going, oh shit, here pre-season's just around the corner and I've done absolutely fuck all. So you want to avoid that happening, but you still want to get your downtime. But then you also want to maximize the off season in terms of getting back into work and building ahead for the next season. But you don't want to do it too soon because you end up with your head cut. You're going, I wish I had took more time off. The energy's low, motivation's low. Just like I need a break. And then a couple of weeks into the off season, you just pull the plug and you're just going, fuck this, I'm not ready to go back in. So it's all about getting that balance between the two. We'll cover that in our webinar. Just to give you a bit of a heads up, it is coming. It will be in around sort of the end of September time. There'll be more details to follow on that. In the meantime, we've opened up a couple of spaces for our one-to-one coaching. So if you're interested, basically all the stuff that I've been talking about there, if you want that applied to you in your specific scenario, based around your schedule, based around your goals, completely built out for you in terms of your training program, built around your team training schedule, your nutrition protocol built out based around feeling properly, recovering effectively, and then also manage your body composition as well. You want weekly check-ins, you want coaching calls, all the good stuff from us, then click one of the links down below and book in for your call. If you're under 18, 19, or if you're under 18, please do not book in for a call. We do not coach any players who are under 18. If you're currently playing at senior level, at adult level, club level, then that's the type of players that we work with. Players who are serious about fucking pushing on. You are maybe at a decent level, but there's so much more in you. You feel like you should be getting more of a return for the time and energy that you're putting into your training. You're at a good level, but you just know that you're not fulfilling your full potential, and there's so much more in the tank. They're the type of players that we want to work with. So if that sounds like you, book in for a call. We'll have a chat with you. And if you want some sort of plan structure, click the links down below. We've got our in-season program, off-season program, and we also have a Potential Performance Academy where you get access to your programs. You also get access to the coaching team, weekly coaching calls, and we've got our course in there as well. Again, if you have any questions and all that, give me a shout. But yeah, cheers for watching. If you made it this far, I appreciate it big time. If you're not currently subscribed, please hit subscribe. Finally broke the 2,000 subscriber mark. Come on, legends. But yeah, outside that, cheers for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and best of luck on anyone playing championship.